So, Luca, dramaturg in residence at South East Dance. I was really struck by the story you told about someone writing in The Guardian who said that dramaturgs were the management consultants of theatre, and that if people wanted to get feedback on their work, they should just go down the pub with a friend.
My response to that is that if you have a friend who is willing to spend an evening in the pub with you talking exclusively about your work, exclusively about your concerns, your ideas, and if that friend happens to be or happens to have dedicated their career to the subject you are talking about and has no desire to talk about themselves at all, then yes, it is quite similar to that. But of course, friends don't do that. One of the things that I'm regularly struck by is actually that the level of discourse between friends, makers, about their work and their practice can be remarkably on a certain level, and that actually I find that artists don't feel that their friends offer particularly good opportunities for serious interrogation of their work. They might offer support, they might say, actually it's not really my thing, but hey, but of course friends don't spend hours talking about the complex depth of the work and the processes. So to that I say nonsense, and leave that thinking somewhere in the past, I think.
Yeah. Maybe if you can tell us what dramaturgy actually is.
Well, the first thing to say is that different people will have, slightly different answers to this question. I'll just speak, from my own point of view. For me, dramaturgy, as opposed to being a dramaturg,
yes.
Dramaturgy is the through line of a piece of work. So people call it le fil rouge, the red line. And basically it's the evolution of work, of ideas through time. And it's the decisions that are made along the way. And it's the world that is built around this. And it's the journey that a piece goes on. Now that piece is made up of lighting, movement vocabulary, sound, design, text, etc. And all of these go through a journey, and that is dramaturgy. It's the world around the work, and it's how it progresses through time, so that where we end up is a different place from where we started.
And so then just going down the pub with your friend doesn't address that thing of time, someone being there in the work over time and feeling the process unfold.
No,
and so having an understanding on that level.
Yeah, of course not. And for me, when I'm working, I see dramaturgy in the process, and actually that's the most exciting bit, beginning, having no real idea where you're going and going there and seeing how the different textures and different choices all can come together. And I also see, of course, this dramaturgy then of the work, final piece, but there's also dramaturgy of an artist's career and how they evolve and how this piece needs to be different to their last piece because they've changed, etc., etc. And so this takes time, and it isn't a quick fix, and it isn't a chat in the pub, although it does involve chats in the pub, but it's a really multi-textured, multi-directional, careful observation or analysis of going forwards within the different contexts of the practice of the person, the process, and the work itself.
And so people bring in a dramaturg, you, let's say, as a dramaturg. When do you usually first encounter the work, or do you look at the artist first, or the work that they're making first, or how do you normally enter that process?
The answer to that question is there is no normal. Every job is completely different, every choreographer is completely different, every maker. And when I work with a choreographer again and again, it's still different every time. Sometimes it begins with me sitting with somebody and then saying, right, I'm going to make a show and I'm not quite sure what about. So we start going in that way. Sometimes they'll say, I'm going to make a show, it's going to be roughly about this. So we go into that world. And sometimes, and then I can enter a process at any point. Sometimes it's about seeing them right through from beginning to end, but quite often I'll be asked into a process perhaps halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, and then it's a whole other thing. But if it's the full journey and I'm working with someone for the first time, then yes, I spend quite a lot of time looking at their work. If time allows, I ask them about their favourite books and their favourite films, and I read them, watch them, try to get a handle on who this person is, see their work, talk to them, so that I can begin to try to understand who they are, why they make work, what their work is like, and then what their work could be.
Right. And presumably you work sometimes on pieces of work that you feel very strong connection to, and other times work that perhaps you don't feel such a strong connection to.
Yeah, sometimes I'm asked, do you ever work on pieces that you don't like? And I find it hard to articulate how little that comes into it. I've never worked on a piece that I hate, but my passion and my excitement and my interest is in how to help them make the work they want to make. So my tastes are just strangely irrelevant, and I don't think I have difficulty banishing them from the room. They're just not present, and I always care passionately because I only work with people that I care passionately about. So, failure or things not working out is the show not working or them not making the show they want to make. And it's true that I propose ideas, and that those ideas will come from my brain and my soul and my aesthetic landscape, but those ideas are just there and they either get taken or they don't. And it's not a question of whether I like it or not. It's a question of whether the artist making the work is happy, and whether I think that what they're trying to communicate is being communicated. And if I think it isn't being communicated and that an audience isn't going to receive what they intend them to receive, then I have to work at that, and I have to try to make them think the way I think, and hopefully they'll agree with me. And so then we try to work out how the show can evolve in order to mean what it's meant to mean. But of course, if they don't agree with me, then it's their show.
Yes.
And that's entirely fine, and that's often the case.
Yeah.
Part of every day is that.
Yes. And so this program that we have running at South East Dance, where you are in residence at South East Dance for a year. This is a 3-year program. You are in with us for year 1 and hopefully continuing to have involvement throughout. What are you going to be doing with us?
It's a really exciting thing. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. It has a number of different strands. First of all, there's the test strand, which is about introducing dramaturgical practice to people who maybe haven't had much experience or any experience of it. So that's we'll do this a couple of times, but that's a 2-day workshop followed up by online support for 6 choreographers and 2 dramaturgs or emerging dramaturgs, and basically we'll workshop together what this is, what this can be for them, ways in which they could embrace it as a way of thinking and a way of working. We'll also look directly at their work, and together we'll try to help them along a bit, identify ways in which their work could evolve or their processes could evolve, and it's really important to me that this process ends with them knowing how to continue. Whether they have a dramaturg with them or not, but that dramaturgical thinking becomes more part of their practice, because actually it's a mindset, and it's great to have a dramaturg in the room. Obviously, I think that, but you can think dramaturgically without that person being there, and very much part of what I want to do is to help choreographers turn that switch so that they're engaged in that mindfulness.
And can you identify what that switch is, or tell us something about that?
Well, I mean, in one sense it sounds obvious, and maybe it is, but not everybody does it. It's about really, really interrogating your choices, and that doesn't mean sort of thinking yourself into oblivion. So it's impossible to make decisions, but it's really about understanding why you're doing something, if what you intend it to do, if it's doing what you intended it to do. And people make a lot of decisions without noticing that they've made decisions. And so it's just about saying, right, here is a scene, for example. What's it for? What happens in it? How are things different by the end of it? What has an audience gained from this? What has happened in terms of vocabulary, etc., etc. And that actually I find that when artists work, they're normally busy, they're normally short of time, they're often struggling with insecurity and fear, and so they just sort of rush forwards. And sometimes that's great, because that's where energy and dynamism can come from. But also it's about stopping and saying, it's just amazing how often I say to somebody, "Why is this bit here?" And actually the reason it's there is because it was created in rehearsal, and so it went into the piece. Yes. Because time speeds by, and actually when you say, but you've got a 5-minute section here, and it doesn't necessarily evolve anything or add anything or reveal anything or give us anything to feel, and people will say, oh yeah, okay. So it's about mindfulness, and actually having a dramaturg enables you to externally articulate all of this stuff, but once you've got into this way of thinking, then you can be a bit more rigorous with yourself, and not let things just happen. Yes. Which might sound like only a bad choreographer would do that, but it isn't true. People push forward, and I find out often things are treated wholesale. So an improvisation in rehearsal will create a 5-minute piece of material, and that 5-minute piece of material will go into a show. But actually, perhaps 2 minutes in that aren't necessary. Don't add, etc. And so it's about taking out these smaller chunks, and that's something that I find people sometimes don't do because they're busy and because they're rushing and because they haven't got this external thing going. Are we sure? So anyway, that's Test. And that's happening at the end of September.
Yes.
And
Pavilion Dance in Bournemouth.
Yeah. And then there's another strand to the residency, which is Collaborate. And this is an open access investment pot, where basically people can apply for between 2 and 10 days of time with a dramaturg. That can either be me or somebody their own dramaturg. And it's for them to have a dramaturg in their process. That can be either on online support. I do a lot of work on Skype for people who are all over the place. Yes. Or it can be 2 days to help with R&D, or it can be a day a week in a studio. It can be whatever people need it to be. Yes. And the deadline for that I think is in October. Yes. And it's part of Southeast Dance's commitment to saying, hey, this is a good idea, this has value, let's see what it can bring to your work. It's also for people who work with a dramaturg all the time. Yes. But within the world of making, it's just to kind of say, we believe in this, and here's some support, because we know you probably believe in it too. Yes,
and also because money's tight right now, that sort of support might appear as a luxury.
Yes.
to people who are working on very reduced budgets.
That's right.
I think South East Dance wants to go, it's not a luxury.
Yeah.
We know you can't afford it, so we'll support it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not a luxury, and I can, I can easily make the counter argument that when there is less money around and the opportunity to fail is not available because your career will be over unless you get this one right. It's more important than ever.
Yes.
People need to be who they mean to be and present the work they mean to present.
Yeah.
And if having 2 days with a dramaturg can help that, then it's imperative that happens, because younger people's careers can end very quickly at the moment, so you can't put work that isn't ready out there. So I would say more than ever we need to be on it in terms of making sure that the work does its job and that the audiences are getting getting what they deserve. And there's another strand.
There is.
Which is that I'm working with South East Dance as an organisation to dramaturg them, really, and just to spend some time with them, doing the same thing as I do with artists, understanding how they work, imagining what they could be, understanding what they are, exploring the strength, exploring the possibilities, etc., which is a really, really exciting part of the process for me.
And which is really vital, because as South East Dance looks to move into a new building, that will inevitably change the organisation and what the organisation is able to do. So it seems really great to have someone in questioning that before we get that.
When I work on a show, it's all about imagining something that doesn't exist yet. And what Susan Melrose calls the not yet imaginable. And yet you spend your whole time trying to imagine it. And of course we all know that artists don't meet their shows until the opening night and they go, And it's very much the same with South East Dance. There will be this new life and all these exciting new possibilities, which have been a long time in coming. And so it's about capturing all this excitement and energy and practicing and laying the groundwork so that you arrive ready and already bursting at the seams.
Yes. And just to finish, thinking of that process that we just talked about with South East Dance and also artistic process, what makes a great process?
Okay, what makes a great process is, for me, is when hard work makes us richer. So it's not necessarily an easy process. For me, it's when all the different pockets of people in the room, so that's the choreographer, the dancers, the designers, the writers, whoever's there, and me, are really working together, and that by being together in the space or in the thinking space, it's additional, and that they couldn't have done this without the input of this and so on, and it builds and it grows. And actually I wrote a little poem.
Lovely.
A poem. So here are my words about what a great process is. You have grown, I have grown, we have grown. I have added, I have taken away, I have challenged, we have grown, you have grown. You have done what I suggested, we have disagreed, you have not done what I suggested. The piece is stronger. The performers are stronger, the audience is stronger, we have all grown. This piece is yours, it is all you wanted it to be and much, much more, and perhaps you couldn't have made it without me. So really, it's this additionality thing, and it's the idea that there's depth and there's understanding and there's clarity and efficiency, all in ways which, had we not treated it with this mindfulness that it deserves, it may not have been so efficient and so successful. And for me, the feeling I have at the end of a great process, as I tootle off with my little shopping trolley, as I always do, is first of all a massive sense of privilege for me that I was allowed into such a room with such people, that actually something great just happened, and that partly that's as a result of me being there, that I've helped, that I've had value, but that mainly that art has grown because of the integrity and the seriousness and the hard work of the people involved.
Right. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Becky.